Welcome to the presentation about how to use Adobe Spark. I'm Mrs. Abdul, and one of the first things that we're going to talk about is related to your poetry project and how to use Adobe Spark. However, you can also use Adobe Spark in your everyday life. This is a way to create social media graphics, web pages, and even short videos. So feel free to visit this as often as possible for other projects. For the purposes of this presentation, we're going to be using the login feature that allows you to use your G Suite account. Because I'm already on a Chromebook, when I hit continue with Google, it's going to automatically log me in. But if you are on a desktop computer, you will need to use your ID number at albany.k12.ny.us and then your school password. Once you're there and logged into spark.adobe.com, you'll see that on the left-hand side is a create your project, but you'll also see the projects that you've already created. So if I click on my projects, you'll see, and I want to show you the first example. This is one that I've done in the past. This is a Pablo Neruda poem called Body of a Woman. Once it loads, you're going to see the integration of both text, video, and visuals. So as I scroll through, you will see the text and how it integrates with the visuals. I've incorporated a video here that we can play. And as we scroll through, you see the poem and then interlaid with either visuals or video. So that is ultimately what your goal is going to be. Anytime you need to visit the homepage, you notice that there is no escape button. You'll simply hit this little SP next to the page and notice that it turns into a home page. So now that we're ready to create a project, hit the button that says create a project, and we are going to choose web page. This provides us the most amount of opportunity while also being able to use just visuals like the video, the text, and the pictures. So just like a Google Slides presentation or a PowerPoint presentation, there are already made themes. You are welcome to choose one here if you want. This usually is just a background as well as the type of font to use. Then you'll notice next, after we close this out, that we're going to start building our project. So to use it again, I can start typing in the title and author of my poem. And then you'll notice that as I scroll, these little plus signs appear. I can put a photo behind it. The best thing about Adobe Spark is that you can find free photos without having to go to Google to do that. The free photos are using two specific websites called Pixabay or Unsplash. These are Creative Commons photos that you can use without having to worry about giving credit to the source. So let's say I want another picture of a woman for this presentation. So here I've typed in the topic of woman, and now I have all of these different options. Once I click on it, then it appears in my background. Now it says scroll to start your writing journey. So again, now that I've gone down and used my scroll bar, you see that you have the option to do photo, text, create a button, integrate a video, or create a photo grid, glide show, or a split layout. These are the things that you're going to play around with. Do you want to add text on this side? Poem line 1, poem line 2. And then on this side, find another picture. So now you'll see the picture, and then alongside you'll see the poetry lines. And again, you can integrate other options anytime you see the plus signs. So now that I've scrolled down a little bit, the plus sign appears again, and now I can integrate a video. All this means is that you're copying a URL for a video that most is associated with or how you see the lines of the poetry being integrated. So again, scrolling down, hit the plus sign, and then whether you want to add more text. And you'll notice too that I have the options above it of creating a bigger headline, of creating it in quotation marks, of putting bullets or numbers, bold, italics. You can even create a link. And then there's even some visualizing if you want to create an upgrade. You do not need to create an upgrade. However, one of the things that I do recommend is if you're comfortable with either Adobe Spark or a website like Canva, you can create your lines of poetry in Canva and then actually upload that as an image to use. So you're welcome to do this however you see fit. And as you continue to scroll, it could be an endless scroll of pictures, text, and video. So it's really just a matter of you playing around with what it's going to look like for when you're doing this. So the glide show as an option is similar to the one that I already had in my presentation. I'm going to choose this waterfall cascade. Now that it's there, I'm going to save that. And then notice that I have my glide show. You can create a focal spot, maybe at the top of the waterfall, and then save that. Anytime you want to see whether or not this is something that you want to keep, you can hit the preview button. It will take a minute to load, and you can scroll through and see how it looks so far. Notice that the X button is at the top to close the preview, and then you go back to editing your poem. So again, scrolling down, anytime you see a plus sign is anytime that you can add anything to yours. If you want to find free photos, again, you can also connect it to Dropbox, uploading photos from Google Drive photos, or even a photo saved from your own images. So it's however you want to add your images. But again, if you want free photos, you only have to go as far as hitting the free photos button. Then the last two buttons, when you're ready to do your presentation, it will go into a presentation mode, similar to how the presentation mode works. The preview mode works. And then also when you're ready to share, you can hit the publish button after filling out a couple questions here, and it will create a link that you can then use to be able to share with teachers or other people. So it'll take a second to hit the creating link after I've added it. So now you can share this on Facebook, Twitter, Classroom. You can send it in an email, integrate it into a website, or simply just copy and paste the button there. Again, anytime you need to go back to the home page, scroll over to the SP page and hit the home button there. You will see at the very bottom all of your projects, as well as being able to create any new projects at any time. If you have any more questions, please stop down to see Mrs. Mikett or myself in the library. Your teacher will also be handing you out a one-page directional sheet for Adobe Spark if you would rather look at the page.